What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always.
Yo.
NFL is back in a major way. Thomas Brady is back. We didn't have a chance to talk about that. So we're going to talk about Brady coming back. Deshaun Watson beat the Chargers, but I don't know if he beat the Chargers of public opinion. He is a free agent or is shopping and said he wants to meet with the teams that he wants to go to prior to going. What's that list look like? We'll talk about that. NFL free agency is just going wild. Bears picked up a D tackle. There's a lot of stuff going on there, so we'll talk about that. Then we'll switch it over to the NBA. Cat drops a 60 ball on the Spurs last night. He scored 32 points in the third quarter. He was going ballistic. We'll talk about Cat. Big Nick says he might have to apologize to Cat. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to do a little NBA roundup. Are the Bulls going to be in the play-in? Is that what we're looking at? They took an L last night to Sacramento. We'll talk about the Bulls. We'll talk about the rest of the NBA. Nuggs went and got a big W against the Sixers on the road. We'll talk about that. A lot of stuff rocking. No Catch-Up Sports Talk via Chicago, man. Stay with us.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what's good?
What's really good?
I did it again, bro.
What's that?
I was trying to trim my beard up. Just trying to, get the little stragglers, out. Keep it a little more clean. Hit it with a divot, bro. It was over. I got to start over.
How many months or years of growth was that beard?
Not that long. My shit grows
quick. Okay.
My shit grows pretty quick, and yeah. I don't like when it gets puffy, so I try to keep it thick but pretty clean. So I instead of paying $400 a month on beard trims because it's growing so quick.
Is that how much it costs to keep your beard like shaped up? If you go to the guy,
I'd have to go probably like if I really wanted to keep it tight, like twice a week.
Is it trim more than a haircut?
I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Jay Hayes got me going to this guy. Really fucking good. Takes care of you. Chops it up. Like dope setup. Drinks, TV. The environment is really dope. And but it's like $70, bro, to get get like my head shaved and then get a beard up.
Nah. No, negative. Can't do it.
Yeah, so
can't do it.
I'll pull up there like once a month type of thing, like maybe once every 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Do you still keep the other barber? You still got another barber you can go to for the quick $25, $30 joint?
I don't really. I got a guy up the street that is fine.
Yeah.
But I end up just usually doing it myself for the most part. And I was fucking around.
You know what? You're bald though, so you're not really worried about the lineup and all that. You're pretty much I didn't think about that. You can do a lot of maintenance at the crib. Like I can't this is 10 days and my shit's already messed up. Like I have to have them take care of it, but you don't got to worry about a lineup. So you're not over here trying to do geometry on your shit. You know what I mean?
just gotta make sure bro. So I missed it and it's all over with. It's over, right? I even thought about it was I hate when I don't have a beard. Yeah. I even thought about just rocking
the boozer,
the divot.
I thought you was gonna get the
boozer. I was just gonna rock
the bowling ball sheen.
The hole in my shit, but I was like, I can't do that. So, but
you look different. You look lighter. I think it's because all that skin that doesn't usually get the sun is out. You look lighter, man. You look like I don't even know.
Yeah, I always have a beard. I've had a beard 15 years straight.
Yeah. You got to keep the beard going. I can't grow a full beard, so I'm jealous.
It is what it is.
Baby face. Hey, so tell me about where you at? If y'all already know, Sean and I are big on the Formula One. We got into it a couple years ago. Where you at on Drive to Survive? I know you called me yesterday about
one episode.
Was Horner's jog too much for you?
I almost turned it off. I swear to God, I almost turned it off. For those if you're not watching the F1 Drive to Survive, this is not even really a spoiler, so don't even trip. First episode of the new seasons. This is season 4.
Yeah.
Christian Horner, head dog at Red Bull, team principal. They opened the scene of him running in the backcountry with a hoodie on, or a zip-up hoodie on, with a hood thrown over his head like it's 24/7 Mayweather Canelo. I thought I turned on the wrong phone. He was running in the backcountry with his hood thrown over his head, talking about how they have to beat Mercedes and we have to give them a run this year. And I was flabbergasted. I thought I had turned on Rocky, and I was livid, and I almost turned it off. But I made it through the first episode.
Man, he was preparing for battle, man. It's a tough year, man. Tough year on the grid, on the paddock.
It might not. Hold on, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think Horner was out here preparing for a tough year on the paddock, man. You know, he's got the Lewis competition. He's got to make sure he's physically fit. Toto's over there looking big. You know, he's got to show up with that same energy, man. So they had to cut to Horner's action shot of working out, which, you know him, man. He's always going to be available to
that
talk.
Sound better?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay,
he's pretty much out here narrating the show, man. So he had to open up with his moment. You know, he's letting you know he's a champion. He's a warrior.
No, man, it was too much for me. I was legitimately like upset. I was like, there's no Netflix is putting on too good of a production to open up the show like this. This is unbelievable.
So it is funny this year though, like watching it, like, because you know these dudes are they're already superstars, but not as much in the United States. But you can almost tell like the way they walk around this year in the show. It's like, yeah, we got we got new level of fame. Yeah, like you know, Lewis always had that, but now it's like, you know, Lando is like, yeah, I'm that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like people know me. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them, man. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, keep watching. It gets crazy.
Yeah, I'll probably knock it out. I got a couple flights here coming up, so
I'll knock it out before this weekend, before Bahrain.
Bahrain is this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
So they wrapped up in the A. They wrapped up testing, and I guess the Mercedes aren't doing too good. They say it's Ferrari and Red Bull right now, and the Haas is fast. Haas back on the side.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fucking wankers. Shout out my man that run Haas.
I'm not trying to hear that. All right, let's get into this NFL, man, before we take up 30 minutes on F1. Thomas Brady is back. Let's lead with that, man.
Of course.
I have a couple of messages between me and you. I went back and looked, actually. When he retired, I said, I don't believe it. Nah, I don't really believe it. And that was kind of how I left it. As the weeks went on, when we talked about the NFC, I just left him off because what else am I supposed to do, right? Like, He says he's retired. He's not playing. He's not on a roster. So I guess Tom's not playing. But I'm going to say this. You don't come off a year like that. And there's like, how many guys have come off a really solid year and left that were at the top of their game and have a mentality like Tom Brady?
All right. Barry Sanders, Calvin
Johnson. Barry Sanders.
Yeah, and those guys weren't competing. It's nobody who was actively competing for a championship.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Johnson and Sanders and those guys left because it was over with. You've never seen a guy. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl last year. They were a legit contender this year. He threw for 5,000 yards. Like, he was at the top of his game, second in MVP. I know you were hoping he was first in MVP. But yeah, we've never seen it. Age aside, right? We get that he's 44 years old, but it was like he just had one of the best years of his career and was just like, yeah, I'm done. It was almost like he had decided before the year that he was most likely going to retire, and he kind of had to stick to that.
Right.
But to your point,
you feel like he had told someone in his household.
Yeah, he might have told someone. he might have told someone whose name rhymes with Lizelle that this might be it. You know what I mean? But once you heard like the Jim, first off, once you started hearing like 2 weeks after, like, oh yeah, we're not sure. It's like, where is this coming from? Then you hear the Jim Gray interview, and he's like, yeah, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And like he's getting his Aaron Rodgers on, talking in you know these crazy terms, and then you see him on the pitch on Saturday talking to Ronaldo. Ronaldo goes, yeah. First off, why is he out there? Okay, the Glazers own the Bucks and they own Manchester United.
Yeah,
so he's out there on business. right?
Yeah.
He's out there on business.
Yeah.
Then Ronaldo goes to him. Ronaldo goes, and the camera's picking up. Ronaldo
You're
goes,
done, huh?
So you're done, huh? He goes,
No, bro, you know what? Well, because you know what's funny? He's obviously out there to talk to the Glazers and check out Ronaldo and
For
see
sure.
Harry Kane,
Yeah,
see
yeah.
Manchester United at Old Trafford.
Right.
I really think seeing Ronaldo have a hat trick and seeing Ronaldo still playing, and then him asking him, athlete to athlete, goat to goat, like, you're done? Like,
You're
you done?
You just saw what I just did, right? You're done?
And I think Brady, at the moment, because I think he knew he was coming back or leaning that way, he didn't have the heart to look Ronaldo in the face and be like, yeah, I'm done. He couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Like, couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Just like mano to mano, like, yo, you done?
Like Ronaldo was looking like,
he looked at Ronaldo and he was like, I
know.
can't tell this dude that I'm done.
Yeah.
And I think that was like the final straw that was like, yeah, it's still in me. I gotta keep rocking.
Well, and he's also looking at a dude like Ronaldo. Ronaldo's what, 37, 38. I mean, Ronaldo could walk away today and his career is ironclad, right? Like locked up, he's good to go. But Ronaldo gets it, man. Like, hey, you're done? Like, how could you be done? I'm not done. Like, how could you hop off this ride, man? You're not washed anymore. They're not.
And mind you, he's way younger.
You.
He's way younger or older than Ronaldo.
It's crazy that he's like 8 years older than Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So he's talking to him. He also seen Bron drop back-to-back or 50-point games twice in a week. He's like, can't be done, man. He's seen Aaron Rodgers get $200 million. He's like, can't be done. Like, this doesn't feel right.
I really think the big part was he went after he kind of was already leaning, coming back anyway. He talked to Ronaldo and he couldn't look Ronaldo in the face and be like, yeah, I'm dead.
I'm done.
It's done.
Couldn't tell
He
him.
just couldn't tell him. And I think it was like, yeah, this is a sign that I need to come back. Now, the other flip that me and Nick were talking about was
real quick. Is that one of like 3 people on the planet that Brady can meet that are more famous than him? Like I was watching him, like when they showed him in the stands,
like athletes.
Just athletes.
Well, he's the most famous dude in the world, probably.
Yeah, Ronaldo is for sure.
Yeah,
and then it's just like I saw Brady sit in the stands, and it's like obviously the majority of people there know who he is, but it's like not like it would be out. Like people aren't like, oh my god. Like if Tom Brady was sitting in the stands at Yankee Stadium and we're chilling watching the game, I'd be like, oh shit. Like whereas Phil's over there, they're just like, oh, that's Brady, but no, Ronaldo's on the pitch. We're good. Like,
yeah I mean, it's a little different for sure.
A little different.
But that was what jumped out at me was when he asked him, he was looking at him almost like asking him, like,
you're done?
Come on, G. What you doing?
He's like, so you're done, right?
Yeah. No, and before we get to the jokes, Michael Irvin said something that I think hit it dead on. I saw a clip of Michael Irvin talking about Brady, and he said there's a difference between retiring with a loss of skill versus a loss of will. And he said, when your skill starts to taper and you retire, that stuff that's understandable. When you come out and throw for 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, and you lose to the eventual Super Bowl champion Rams in the playoffs, that's different than having the will to want to continue and play. Irvin was like, at the end of the year, you could have no will to play, and by week 15 be like, this is my last year. I don't want to go through this grind anymore.
I'm done.
And then sit at the house for a month, and the will comes back. The skill doesn't come back. The will come back. And I thought that was perfectly said and exactly what happened with Tom. And I think a part of it, too, was just being at the crib. He's not used to being at the crib, dog.
He's not being used to the crib. And the people at the crib ain't used to him being there. Like, you think it's all sweet and it's some happy reunion, but look, folks been living their life. He's been living his life. She been doing her thing. He been doing his thing. Like,
you said, like, he was at the crib chilling, like people had left, went and run errands. He was sitting at the crib by himself.
Watch the TV.
Like,
yeah. Or she comes home and Tom is chilling and she's like, come on, man. Like, oh, you got to go do something. Like, she was probably like, hey, look, man, just fucking go play your football. It's okay. Like,
you could just tell he was miserable at the crib.
Yeah, she could tell he's miserable. She's looking in his eyes.
Game.
he's glued on the First Take, seeing what they're talking about. Like he's like, man, I can still do this. And Tom, dude, a guy like that, like again, like we talk about these Ronaldos, even like with Bron, like these dudes are driven by something different. Like there's nothing more that they can accomplish. Obviously, they can win more, they can score more, they can add more statistics. But as far as like a legacy, it's signed, sealed, and delivered. But like you said, when it comes to that will, I don't know if he ever lost the will. I don't think he lost the will when he made that retirement. Even his retirement was weird. He just gave a quick thank you to the Bucks and was like, yeah, I'm out. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like
it was
very like
all fugazi, man.
It's like I guess that's what I'm supposed to do.
No
like
press conference.
No nothing, man.
Nothing.
It's just like and it's just like this was kind of like very, very reserved for a guy who's got who's so famous and so big and so important to the culture. So yeah, I think he was at the crib. A few days is cool. Seeing the kids is cool. Waking up, going to the grocery store with your wife is cool. Maybe not thinking about football is cool because Tom is definitely an all-in dude. Like, I think even in the offseason, that dude's in the cave watching film and working on his body and slicing avocados and whatnot. And it was a combination. He's bored. She's looking at him bored. And she's like, come fall, this is going to be untenable. You know what I mean? Like, once the game starts, his dude's going to be miserable.
Yeah, exactly right. And I could see him being in meetings for like TB12 or something and being like,
looking off over there.
Looking off into the horizon, like out the window. Like, nah, man.
I'm not ready for this yet.
I'm not doing this shit.
I'm not. And then he's probably like he's over here at games, watching games and shit. So he's probably been in the stands a few times. Like, no, this isn't for. I'm not ready to be a former athlete. Yeah. I'm not ready to walk through the stands and get all this love. Like, yo, your career was great, man. Like, I'm not. I'm ready to come back and kick somebody's ass.
So then, what was that? What was the retirement?
I told you. I think he had it in his mind that he was done after this year. And I think
but hold on, because we're saying that he had it in his mind after the year that he would retire, but then we also are saying that the retirement was a sham because he put out like a little note. So
you ever told yourself you're gonna do some shit and even whatever, right? And later on you're like, maybe this wasn't the right decision, but I've kind of already told myself I'm gonna do it and I need to do it and it's time for me to retire, even though you don't really believe that. I think that's what it was, man. I think he had told himself at some point in the year or maybe before the year, this is my last year, right? But that will that we talk about never went away. And maybe he's like, man, maybe by week 16, I'll feel this is my last year, right? And every week you're waiting for it to feel like it's your last year.
Yeah.
Then you retire. Then 40 days later, it still doesn't feel like it's your last year. You know what I mean? He's like, I can't do this, man. I still got an itch. It's different, bro. I think you can't win 7 Super Bowls, set all these records, play for 24 years, do all these things and not be wired completely different than the rest of us. So maybe like you and I, as we sit here, can't fully get into his mentality and understand what that's like because we're just not wired that way. Whereas this dude is different. There's a reason he's different and he's just built different. Like I wouldn't want to be playing football at 45.
And I got a clip. I got a clip from Ryan Poles, Bears' new GM, that kind of tips off on this, and I'm going to get to later. So stay tuned for that because that mentality is different for a lot of different people. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, and I think you see a lot of guys be done. Like you talk about skill, like Drew Brees is a great example. He probably wanted to play. There was nothing left. Arm was a noodle.
Yeah.
Arm was never a cannon to begin with, but arm was literally a noodle. He could not throw
arm was going to fall off.
Peyton Manning arm had fallen off by the end of Denver. Like these guys can't play anymore. You know what I mean? So keep playing. Of course. That's why I thought the Rodgers retirement shit was capped too. It wasn't going anywhere. Speaking of which, Aaron Rodgers' deal just came out. It's $151 million guaranteed. All that cap about it not being 153, he signs for 151. I hate this guy.
Was it 4-year?
Yeah, 151 million. So I think he gets that direct deposit today.
4-year, 150. The Packers.
I think it's 4 years, 200, 151 guaranteed, probably. Another 50 million in funny money.
But 151 guaranteed, other 50 funny money.
And I think he gets that 151 today.
And
lump sum.
There's no way.
That's how a lot of these guarantees work. Remember when Dak signed his shit last year? He got a $75 million direct deposit.
There's no way he gets that much.
$75 million direct deposit for Dak. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. You think that dude's not getting all his money up front?
No, he's just gonna tell him to spread it out, bro.
No, he wants his 150. No, I need that today. I'll pay the taxes. Don't worry. I'll figure that part out.
Send the W-2 with it.
Yeah, send the W-2 with it. I'll take care of the rest. I'll take care of the rest.
Send the W-2 with it.
And my man McAfee should get like 3% of that too.
No, it should be the other way around. McAfee owes Rodgers money on that FanDuel deal.
Did he get McAfee got a FanDuel deal?
What?
Did he get big money?
What?
When did this happen?
Dog, go look up McAfee's FanDuel deal that he got. Are you crazy?
Let me see.
Rodgers hooked
him up. He got 120 million?
Dog, Rodgers hooked him up.
Dog, shout out Pat Mac. What a life.
Yeah,
a punter in the NFL just got $120 million for his show.
Yeah, he hooked him up, bro.
I'll give it to him, man. He does like 3 hours of standing up on TV and like his show is. Yeah, I never really watched it, but I watched the Rodgers shit. That's great. Shout out McAfee. That's awesome.
Yeah. That happened like.
So that's why he's got the new chain. Okay, I saw like some clips the other day. His chain was looking very shiny. I was like, damn, McAfee spending some money. Okay.
Yeah, but Rodgers hooked him up with that weekly
designers. Yeah,
that was big.
Yeah, it was huge,
massive. He's the only.
And he'll go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he's just no one else is talking to Rodgers like that. Literally, throughout everything that was happening, you knew you could catch Rodgers on McAfee on Tuesday or whatever day it was. He came on every week, no matter what.
And you know what McAfee did too? McAfee didn't bother him about all that shit, which other athletes will see, and he's going to get other people to come do that weekly because it's just like, look, I'm not going to ask you about where you're doing and what you're going to do every week. Just talk, and you're naturally going to let go of information. Exactly. And like that, yeah, they're covering his shit every week. So yeah, good. I didn't even know he got that 120, man. Shout out Pat McAfee. Well, that's great. What a country.
Gotta stay on the grind.
Yeah, real talk. Give me 10% of that. We good.
Yeah, for real. Let's move over to Watson, man. Watson beat the Chargers.
Never even got the Chargers.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
Murder. It's not funny, but...
You know, like, we don't usually talk about serious topics on No Ketchup, and we're not going to start today. But he didn't get the charges. They decided not to file the charges. We know what the charges are. He says the Texans are going to move him, it sounds like, no matter what. And he says, Watson says he wants to talk to the teams that he wants to go to prior to signing. Now, he's running out of places to go.
Yeah.
Because there's certain teams in the league that are not going to touch him.
For sure.
And then there's some teams that will touch him that don't need a quarterback. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen here, because I think that he could only go a couple places that could really handle the situation the correct way, because their franchises run the right way. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
When they're done.
And
I don't think the Steelers. No way the Steelers would bring.
They wouldn't deal with that.
Well, I guess they just had I mean, their quarterback the last 15 years wasn't exactly a role model. Yeah. So, yeah. But I think the first part you said, or second part you said, as far as a lot of teams wouldn't have them. Like, I really do think that we got to take that into account. Like when we talk about the court of public opinion, because you will receive backlash. There will be an op-ed writ. You will have to answer to why you brought him in the building. We just saw what happened with who was the coach? Art Briles tried to get it. They couldn't even hire Art Briles at a HBCU. Listen, they couldn't even hire Art Briles at a HBCU. That tells you everything you need to know about whether or not folks are going to let you move on from stuff. And I'm not saying Art Briles should have been allowed to move on from stuff, because what he did at Baylor was deplorable. But if they won't let you hire you at a black job, trust me, it's not over with. You'll never get another job. When I saw that, I said Briles will never get another job again. If they won't let him hire at a black school, it's over with. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of people. So an organization like the Steelers, that's too big of a brand. I don't think they would bring him in. I think it'd be the Cowboys would, because Jerry doesn't give a fuck. But I think it would have to be. But they don't need him. It would have to be an organization that doesn't that takes chances. But I think the Steelers are too buttoned up, man.
It's too late.
It's too late. Either way,
the Steelers is a mute point. They gave Trubisky a 4-year deal. 2-year deal. Excuse me.
Yep.
But
which we should talk about that.
We'll definitely talk about that. This is the thing for me, I think, for the Watson thing. I almost want to say that him not getting brought charges is going to work against him. He puffed his chest on Twitter after it came out that God always shows the truth and this, that, and the third, right?
Don't say anything.
So he kind of puffed his chest out like, I told you guys that nothing was going to come to this. The the truth comes to light, whatever. And I don't know the details on what happened, but listen, when this is the perfect example of when there's smoke, there's fire. There's no way all these women are lying. Something was going down that had no business happening.
But he had 28 complaints.
Yes, like that doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Say what you want. If there's no proof and they can't bring a case, that's fine. But 28 people don't come and say something happened and it didn't happen. It's just doesn't. That's not how the world works, right? So my thing is now it's almost like people are the court of public opinion is gonna hate him more because he didn't get a charge, do something, admit he was wrong, admit he made a massive mistake, apologize, take a suspension, and then come back on like some second chance shit. Listen, what do you mean? Ben Roethlisberger did it.
Yeah,
he took a suspension and came back.
Yeah,
this is what I'm telling you.
And he's white, so let's keep it real here. Mike Vick did it too, and Mike Vick has been apologizing for 10 fucking years. And every time Mike Vick makes a high-profile move, somebody's writing an op-ed about why Mike Vick shouldn't be allowed to fucking exist. Still, to this day.
True.
Kill Deontay Wilder to this day.
But it's a lot. And obviously this will blow over as well, and it won't be as hot. But part of me feels like if he got a charge, apologized, did whatever he had to do, got his suspension, and then came back, because he's acting like, hey, I told y'all I didn't do shit, and they didn't bring the charges because I didn't do anything, and now I'm back, and now I get to hand select whatever team I get to play on, is what he's saying, and I think that's not going to go over so well. And I think people are going to remember that, and it's going to be a part of it's the guy that got away with murder. It's OJ, not the guy that made a mistake, apologized for it, and then now is working his way back. You know what I'm saying?
You're putting a lot of stock in these apologies and and paying your debt to society as far as people being satisfied with that. I don't agree with. I don't think that's the case at all. And I think Mike Vick is the perfect example. Mike Vick think
it's just an extra punishment.
Mike Vick did 2 years up top, came out, has apologized his life away, and there was still catches flack.
Yeah, I don't.
He's caught flack. I mean, this is about. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I don't think so. I think there's still the people that have a problem with it. What's the right way to say this? The people that are going to take issue with him moving on in life will take issue with him moving on in life, regardless
if he took a penalty or not.
If he took a penalty or not. Their minds have already been made up. They're not going to be like, yeah, well, you know what? It cost him X amount of dollars. And he went to jail. Now let's let him live. He's still that. You understand? Like, he's still that. Mike Vick is always a dog abuser, right? Like, these people, that's what it is, man. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, it doesn't work that way, man. I'm
about to wear my Mike Vick in Atlanta this weekend.
You probably should, man. Run out that. I don't know, man. He was saying that funny shit about who he said needs to cut his hair. I was off Mike Vick.
Yeah,
he was cornball of the week for us, man. He's talking about someone needs to cut his hair and like be more like a corporate dude. Be more white. Yeah. I was like, Mike, man, they done got. See, Mike's out here saying shit like that now. Like, Mike going all the way. He probably voted for Trump. Like, Mike is going all the way. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that will satisfy the people the way you think it will.
I might just be captured in the moment a little bit, but I think that he is going to get crushed. And whatever team that he goes to better be ready. This is the other thing, bro. Across the whole building, you better have a coach. Your media team better be ready. Your PR team better be ready. The social team better be ready, because it's coming from all angles if you add Deshaun Watson every single week. Every woman in your building is going to have an issue with this dude, but you're going to have to eat it, and I don't know who's going to do that. Who else needs a quarterback still?
Cleveland.
List them.
They're saying that he's meeting with Cleveland today. So I think, I thought the best team for him to go to, but if the Texans would never make this deal, is the Titans. Right? Give us back Tannehill. We get a quarterback back. Deshaun goes to a team that is ready, right? And they get the one thing they need, which is a massive upgrade at quarterback, because Tannehill gets you through the regular season, cannot get you through the playoffs. So I like them. Go ahead. Yeah,
no. And someone else, I was listening to Cowherd yesterday, and he actually made a good point. He said, why not send him to Charlotte?
Yeah, that's another team. Yeah, absolutely.
And everybody loves him down at that part of the country to the southeast.
Yep.
He's got some rapport down there.
And probably get a little more rope in those, and that's wrong for lack of a better term.
Yeah, you
get a little bit more leeway in that part of
for sure.
You get a little bit more leeway in that part of the country, definitely, man. They're a little bit more I don't know. Lenient on things. Yeah, he can't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you can't come to the Steelers. You definitely could never come to the Bears. They'll run you out of town.
Yeah.
Couldn't go to New York or anything like that. But yeah, I think Carolina's a great team for them. They also owe $19 million to Sam Darnold, so I don't know what they're going to do about that. But yeah, that's a good squad for him. I think the Broncos already took care of their shit. I thought Miami was the spot, but I already told you, if you got women problems, you can't go down to Miami.
Let me ask you this. Since we always keep it 100 on no catch-up, you think if Deshaun came here, well, how would the town react?
Not good. This is the absolute wrong city.
Yeah.
Absolute wrong city.
Even if he started throwing 45 touchdowns?
Absolute wrong city. He's absolute wrong city. It was enough for us to even get a black quarterback. We can't have one with sexual assault charges. They won't do it. You know what the Bears are on, man. The Bears don't do that. No way. As an organization, they wouldn't be able to handle that situation because the Bears stay as far away from controversy as possible. Remember, we talked about it last year. Anytime they're embarrassed, that's when people get fired. So once Nagy and Pace start embarrassing them, boom, you get fired. When Trestman started embarrassing them, boom, you get fired. They don't welcome controversy. This is one of the oldest franchises in the NFL. It's a buttoned-up organization. It's a conservative organization. They don't look for splash. They really don't. And they've never looked for splash. Like, this isn't the Cowboys or someone who's going to go out. They won't bring in volatile personalities, man. They had Brandon Marshall about as far as they'll go. Yeah. And you know that about the Bears. It's not what they do.
I was talking more about the town.
And the city, I don't think the city would allow it either. I think this is no.
Okay.
I don't know.
We'll leave it there. Because
think about your girl's reaction when she finds out the quarterback we just traded for has got 28 sexual assault accounts against him.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
You come on with the Sean Watson jersey, she might kick you out the crib.
Listen, it's gonna be really interesting wherever he goes.
And it's not just women that are going to have the reaction. Let's be completely fair. Men are going to have the same reaction too. It's
he's a scumbag
behavior. Yeah.
Listen, like he's a scumbag. It's disgusting behavior.
I don't need him. I don't want to deal with that. Give me Russ. I know Russ has no 28 women coming out of nowhere. Go Bears. Hey, yo, babe, we're in Chicago. It's cold.
Go Bears.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where he lands and what happens there. So we'll move on now. We could talk about that for a long time because I'm also interested to see how well he plays. He took a year off.
Yeah.
Like he hadn't played.
Probably feels great.
He hadn't played in a year. So stay tuned on that. He's meeting with Cleveland today, you said?
Yeah. Which if I'm Baker, so Baker, who should be preparing to sign a deal, is about to get replaced. They're gonna. It sounds like they're gonna move on from him. Which
Baker's fucked up.
Yep.
When you have the best year of your career and beat the Steelers in the playoffs, where the franchise hasn't done that in eons, you get a deal. That's it.
Wasn't Baker out that game though? Didn't Baker and what's his face have COVID, or just the coach had COVID for that game, right?
Baker won that game. I'm almost positive. Look that up. Unless I'm tweaking.
He shouldn't have showed up to work on Monday.
That was his best year of his career. He especially for a guy that's already had a rocky start. It was up, down, up. You were back up again.
Yeah,
you were up. Sophomore season was down. Third year was up. You got to get a deal, dog.
Back down. Yeah.
You got to get a deal. Lock it in. So,
for sure.
Yeah, man.
That's actually not a bad move. I think Cleveland could probably bring him in too. They're
just so hungry for a winner.
Thirsty for something. Yeah, they'll probably be like, fine, it's okay.
Dog pound. It's all good with it.
Dog pound's all good with it. 6th Street, whatever that little cut is over there. All
right, man. Yo, let's jump to this free agency because it's a lot to talk about, man. We just so we already had 35 minutes. Big moves. Chiefs add Justin Reed. They need some help back there. I wonder, what do you do if you're the Chiefs? That's kind of what my question about the Chiefs. They go add a safety, 3-year, $31.5 million, $20 million guaranteed. He's 25 years old. He's a monster. He played for the Texans the last couple of years. If you guys don't know who that is, he's really, really good. And it looks like he's going to replace Honey Badger, which is a shame. But if you're going to replace him, go get a younger cheaper version of that guy. I don't know if he'd be cheaper, but a younger version of that guy that'll be there for a long time.
I don't like paying safeties $10 million a year, but that's a
is that because you got that Eddie Jackson in your mouth?
Yeah, I just feel like safety. I prioritize positions, and I know safety is one of those things. If you got a bad one, you definitely know. We all remember Chris Conti and people of that ilk, but it's just a lot of money to give to a safety. Not quite at running back level for me, but like I just feel like you can find some cheaper help at the safety position if you do your due diligence rather than paying a fuck ton of money.
See, I don't know, man, because we didn't give Adrian Amos his money.
Smash.
And
because they had to pay Eddie Jackson.
The Chicago Bears defense has been shit ever since.
Yeah.
And that's not all the safety position, but the reason Eddie Jackson was because he got to run around and Adrian Amos was thumping people and playing sound ass football.
True.
So
fair enough.
That is, you got to.
You'll miss the loss of a good one, but it's just also like when you're going through your books, like.
Yeah, I mean,
at that point, you couldn't have two safeties making a combined like $20 million. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money back there when you still got to pay your corners, you still got to pay everybody else. So you had to choose one or the other, and you chose Eddie Jackson, which at the time made sense because he was scoring a lot of touchdowns. I don't know if he's got a pick since he got paid, but
I think you're right. Safety's down the ladder on positions you need to pay. There's no question about that. I also think you need to be sound at a lot of different spots, man. You better have a corner. You better have good corners. You better have a nickel guy. If you don't have a nickel guy, you're getting fucked up.
Remember Buster Screen?
Buster Screen, you're getting shredded, right?
Busted Screen.
Yeah. So you need to have. So I'm not mad at that. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
They did lose Charvarius Ward though to the Niners, who's their best corner.
Yeah.
So you lose a corner, but add a safety.
So you said what do you think they should do when you were asking that? Like what was your overall?
Yeah, like I just don't. What do the Chiefs need? Like they need to run it like because you think of the Chiefs, it's like all right, just reload, run it back.
They need to win a shootout against the Buffalo Bills. That's what they need to do, right? Like, and I don't know what you're doing in the offseason right now that addresses that issue. Because if you look at it, their year last year, remember they started off and everybody was like, what the hell's wrong with this team? Then they fixed the defense. They made the defense from mediocre to average, solid, right?
Yeah.
And they took off. So I think you just need to continue that defensive work. Understand that, look, man, just it all revolves around Mahomes. Everything you do should be towards making Patrick Mahomes a better player and maximizing this Mahomes thing. And understanding that he gives you the best chance to win a bunch of ball games and prepare for that shootout against Buffalo because it's still all these other flurry of moves that happen in the AFC. To me, it's still the Chiefs and the Bills, right? So you're preparing for that, and I think you just kind of go from there. So if you feel like you need to add some players on D, you need to retool some things, go for it, right? But you know me, when it comes to team building, for me, it's very simple. The philosophy has always been simple: build from the trenches. Give me O-line and D-line. You can't do anything. You can give me all the best wide. Look at the Bengals. They had Joe Burrow had to be incredible for them to even get past that. But once the Super Bowl hit, once it came to the fourth quarter, what happened? Right? And I get it's against Donald and Von Miller and true Hall of Fame Defensive Player of the Year guys, but their line fell apart. Their line fell apart. It fell apart like it had been falling apart all year, and you can't not address this. Now, it's good to see. I think they gave the guard from Tampa a bunch of money yesterday. I know they signed another guard. Like, they're doing exactly what they should be doing. If Joe Burrow's on a rookie deal and you have $70 million in cap space, 69.5 of it should be towards the offensive line. I do not care about the rest.
Especially with what skill players they got.
Yes, you sign a solid group of offensive linemen. You lock those guys up for so that their timeline matches Joe Burrow's, and you worry about the rest. And you got Chase. The rest of it, you can fill in the blanks. Joe Burrow is going to make receivers better, right? Good quarterbacks are going to make receivers better. Tom Brady showed you that in New England. Rodgers has shown you that in Green Bay. Get these guys protected and go from there. Brady was never on the ground in New England for 20 years. That was prioritized.
Yeah.
Had success, didn't get hurt.
You want to get your rant off about the Chargers doing the same thing as well.
It's beautiful. I love it. They just gave the cornerback J.C. Jackson from first off, last week they traded for Khalil Mack.
Yep.
And we talked about it. We said this is absolutely what you need to do.
We'll take all the money. No problem.
Yeah, take all the money, take a swing, give us talent because our quarterback is making $5 million this year and he's a top 10, top 12 guy. Right? Then yesterday they signed. Yeah, could be. Talent-wise for sure. Then they signed J.C. Jackson from New England, who's a stud. 5 years, $83 million. Whatever. Give him $90 million if that's what he wants, because you're not paying a quarterback. If a quarterback's not eating up $40 to $50 million of your cap, which is the new number, right? Then spend that money elsewhere. Load the fuck up. If I'm the Bears, if you're the Bears and you have Fields in the building and you believe he's that guy, load the fuck up. Load up. You draft a rookie quarterback, New England Patriots. Bill Belichick did it last year. Remember, he was just throwing money all over the place in free agency last year. He's like, look, I'm going to have a rookie quarterback. And now he even knows that's more money to throw around. Spend the money when you have the rookie quarterback. Double down on it. Take risks. Because by the time you got to pay your quarterback, those guys are off the books and you're not worried about it. But when you don't have that $40 million commitment in there, spend that money elsewhere and maximize on this. These quarterbacks are coming in ready to go. 2-3 years, these guys are ready to go. Joe Burrow just took his team to the Super Bowl in his third year after missing a lot of last year.
Yep.
So, like, if these guys are...
It just goes to show that the same conversation that we've had before. This is why I wanted to play Justin Fields over Andy Dalton. What are we doing? Yeah. Let's find out if we have the guy. If you play these guys, they'll show you if they're the guy or not. Justin Herbert flat out came off the bench and showed you immediately, I'm that guy.
I'm that guy.
Ready to go.
I'm ready.
Russell Wilson, when he was inserted, I'm that guy. I am ready to go. So that's why I want to play Justin Fields. It wasn't like fuck Andy Dalton type of thing. It was more like, let's see if we got this guy that we think we have.
Which shapes your offseason this offseason, because and hey, look, we'll call it. Fields had a lot working against him last year, also didn't play well, right? So maybe if you're the Bears, you still need to see it. But if he's in that building and you believe that he's that guy and you have, the $100 million in cap space the Bears have, man, you better be filling your roster with elite primetime players that are going to be able to perform as Fields gets better, because those guys will elevate him. So if there's an offensive lineman on the board, because that's what we need, sign him. Yesterday we signed Larry Obugohumumobi, one of these dudes who sounds like a guy that Messiah would draft for the Raptors. Sign him. You understand what I'm trying to say? Grab these guys. Take a swing. Some people said that's risky. That's fine. It's a 3-year deal. You're not paying your quarterback for 3 years. So fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, but don't be timid. Don't try to slow roll this. Like, the Chargers are like, fuck that. Man, Russell Wilson's in the division now? Okay, cool. We got to load up. We're loading up. Give us more. They got more moves to make, because we're not paying our quarterback for another 2 years, and Joe Burrow just took his team to the Super Bowl.
And here's why
we can't do the same.
Here's Ryan Poles. I want to get your take on what he said. This is talking about signing big-time free agents versus waiting for the second wave to kind of come about. This is Ryan Poles, Bears GM.
So you'll start to gather that information just with contacts into that first wave, and you'll get a feel based on how you valued players once they start to trickle down and the price points come down a little bit. Because at the end of the day, you're going to overpay in free agency. That's just what it is. It's market price. So it's really through the communication that you'll get an idea of when things settle down a little bit. But it's usually a couple of days in.
And when you talk about being a fan of second and third waves, how much of that is volume and being able to get more players in that regard?
Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, we have, 26, 27 free agents, so there's a lot of spots we got to fill. So that volume piece is important, and it really comes down to our evaluation to make sure that we're right on there. And the other thing, too, that I've always loved is usually in that volume piece, you're going to have some players that they're motivated. They got a chip on their shoulder, and they want to get back to free agency and go at it again, so they play with a purpose. And I've mentioned this before, but it's very hard to stay super motivated. You got to be a special human being to be in that first wave and keep going. You want your name etched in the stadium. That's what kind of mentality you got to have. So I definitely think there's a lot of good value down there. Plus,
what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, it's refreshing to hear a guy like actually like be honest and just talk. Like you listen to Pace and Nagy and these guys just speaking superlatives and just say all types of bullshit, don't really say anything. He just gave you a lot of insight into his thinking right there, right?
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Look, you're always going to overpay, which is honest, right? It's the truth. You're always overpaying in free agency.
Market
Price, yeah, right? It's not what you're worth, it's what somebody's going to pay you. So I love that. And then, yeah, we start talking about that second and third wave because the NFL is about depth. It's always been about depth. You're not gonna carry that same starting 22 that you had in week 1 into weeks 18, 19 now, right? Like you're gonna have injuries, and how you use that depth and how that depth performs for you is a key part to the season because guys are gonna get hurt. So when you start talking about you got 30 positions to fill, it sounds like, hey, look, we signed 3 marquee guys, and that sounds great, and that's great for headlines, but we still got 24 spots to fill. So as we kind of wait for that second and third wave, you really got to be spot on with those evaluations because those are the guys that are going to make up the bulk of your roster, right? And I love it.
Biggest thing I pulled out of it was him talking about the mentality of some of these guys that are getting paydays. He flat out said, I like some of these second and third wave guys because they're more hungry. They're trying to get back.
Contract.
They're trying to get back to free agency so they can get paid. A lot of these guys that are taken at big time first wave deals get paid a ton of money and they taper off. And he flat out said, you have to be of a different ilk to get a huge payday. You have to want your name engraved in the side of the stadium in the Ring of Honor to continue to play ball and be motivated after you get a big time deal.
For sure.
And say what you want about Khalil Mack. The motivation towards the back half of the stay in Chicago was unmotivated. And that's exactly what it looked like. And that's exactly how he played. So I think that was the most interesting part of what Ryan Poles said. I like these second and third round wave guys because they're hungry. They're still trying to get that payday.
Yep.
Those are the guys I want. I don't want the fat paid, I don't want to say lazy, but satisfied guys that aren't as hungry as these second or third wave guys.
Well, it's funny. You were just talking about that Chiefs safety. So he's 25 and signs a 3-year, $31 million deal, right? What happens? 3 years, he's 28. He's looking for another deal. Right? As opposed to a guy who's 28, you sign for 4 years and whatever it is, and he's going to be 32 by the time that's over, and he's going to be done.
Or 30 years old. Or 31.
Whatever. Right.
You know
So, yeah. Your process, those second and third wave guys are absolutely more. Everybody knows the frontline guys, but how you evaluate those second and third round guys and how you evaluate the mentality and what it is that they want and all that is extremely important because, those guys need to hit free agency again. And you want motivated guys. So I love that he's taking at it that way. It sounds like he knows exactly what he wants. It sounds like he's going to have honest conversations with the guys. I like the vibe from this Ryan Poles character.
Very much.
Very much so. Because Ryan, like, again, Pace and all those never said shit.
Never
say a
said
whole lot,
anything.
Say a whole lot, don't say nothing.
And legit would come out and say something and then disappear for 8 months.
Yeah.
Out of the calendar.
Right.
And you would never hear from him. The only time of his time in Chicago, 90% of the time I saw Ryan Pace's face was them cutting to him in a skybox on Monday Night Football.
Right.
Or Sunday Night Football.
Right.
Ryan Pace, GM of the Bears. And then they would show him in a press box drinking a bottle of water.
Yeah.
That was the majority of the time I saw Ryan Pace.
Yep.
He would come out and talk a bunch of nonsense in press conferences, and then he would disappear. He actually really got over.
Pace?
Yeah. I don't know if he got over as much as Nagy did, but
you see Nagy's crib?
I guess he missed. He just missed on his quarterback. Yeah, I did.
What a Eric, dude! That told me everything I needed to know. He had his play sheets. He had a wallpaper of his play sheets.
Yeah, man.
All those play sheets that got you 14 points and 13 points and 9 points had those. He had a basketball court in Bears colors with an N on it. He had a locker room in Bears colors. He was really all in. He thought he was going to be here for 30 years.
Yeah. Hey.
The play sheet wall was the best.
I'm not mad at that. That's the mentality you got to have.
None of those play sheets were good.
But you got a wall full of wall full of mediocre ass play sheets.
Wall full of mediocre play sheets. So yeah, I thought that was funny. But yeah, no, they did, man. But I'm hoping that and even like this Eberflus guy, man, I get it's kind of corny, but like, look, dude, I think he's just like a football dude. I don't care.
We're gonna find out.
We'll find out. If he's gonna come in here and he has the defense rocking, because we know that's always gonna be the foundation of Chicago Bears, fine. You know what I mean?
It's not though. That's the issue.
It's not his fault. Hey, it's not his fault.
Problem though. It shouldn't be.
Sure.
It shouldn't be the foundation anymore. That's our issue.
Let's trust the offensive shit, but let's say this. It's not Eberflus' fault that Wentz folded up in that Colts game. I'm sorry, in that Jaguars game, right? So let's see what happens. No, I hear you though. I hear you. You wanted a Shanahan type. You want the 40-year-old.
I want the offensive guy, man. I didn't care if he was 65.
Caldwell?
Bring me the dude that's bringing. You
want a Jim Caldwell?
Whatever. No, I didn't want Jim Caldwell. I made that very clear.
I like Jimmy C.
I made that very clear. But
Jim Caldwell's like Alvin Gentry. It's a steady hand.
Yes, it is.
Shout out Alvin Gentry.
Speaking of and who's our guy that coaches? Shout out Mike Woodson too.
That's so funny you said that. I was literally about to randomly say shout out Mike Woodson. I saw him in Indiana. Shout out Mike Woodson.
Goatee still strong.
Yeah, you can't kill Mike Woodson. Suit game still impeccable.
Shout out Mike Woodson.
You ever see that picture of Mike Woodson where he had the shirt that had the indentation for like the watch? Like his watch band was in his shirt. Like this part right here, the little cuff. Oh my God, G! I gotta find this.
Yeah, find it. Show it to you. Shout out Mike Woodson.
Salute.
Let's talk about Trubisky real quick,
man,
because it's really funny as Chicago. I'll speak for myself. It's really funny as Bears fan, to see Trubisky getting all the love that he's getting, and I say that because. Obviously, a lot of people around the country haven't seen him play as closely as us.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing media members, big people on big stages say, he went to the Pro Bowl. He led the team to the playoffs. And I'm hearing that narrative. And I'm like, he had very little to do with all of that. Secondly, and I want to be clear, I'm not rooting against Trubisky at all. I don't care if he does well or not. But it is funny to see him getting a ton of love. Let's just say what it is. I think people are saying that it's almost, from what I'm hearing, people are saying that this guy's actually really good. This is a steal. I haven't seen any of that. So let's call it what it is and say we're taking a chance on a guy that could potentially been in a really bad situation in Chicago and has an upside that maybe he's better than a lot of people have seen. And maybe people in Buffalo said that. Maybe, he's being evaluated differently in a different scheme. Fair. But don't try to sell me on this guy led team to the playoffs and he went to the playoffs 2 of his 4 years as a starter and it was a Pro Bowler. Like, get real here. Let's say what it is. They're taking a chance and let's see what comes of it. It's a Sam Darnold experiment.
Oh God,
that
is so disrespectful.
No. In Charlotte, it's the same thing though.
No, it's not. Darnold is.
What do you mean? It's the exact same
thing.
Mitch
Trubisky has much better film than Sam Darnold. Let's keep it completely real here.
Much better film, huh?
I think Trubisky's film is better than. Have you ever watched Sam Darnold play football?
Yeah, it's not.
He's
different. He's
shown zero. He couldn't even back into a Pro Bowl.
He's shown flashes just like Trubisky has shown flashes of being a solid quarterback.
I take many chances on Trubisky over Sam Darnold. I can't co-sign to that.
It's actually the exact same situation. Sam Darnold was under Adam Gase. Everyone said Adam Gase is garbage. That's the reason why Sam Darnold wasn't doing anything. He needs another opportunity to get a chance to start in the NFL. It's the exact same narrative around Trubisky. He was stuck under Matt Nagy.
Different player.
We didn't see the guy that could potentially be a really good quarterback because he was stuck under Matt Nagy. Let's give him another opportunity. Here's a new contract, just like they gave Darnold in Carolina, and we'll see what he could do in Pittsburgh. It's the exact same.
Darnold, they just picked up his 5th-year option. That's all they did. And the 5th-year option was at $19 million. So he didn't get a new deal. It's fifth year option, $19 million.
No. He got a new deal when he went to
No,
Carolina.
He didn't.
When
They picked up.
Go look it up. When he left,
he was traded to Carolina. Listen, he was traded to Carolina after his third year in New York. His fourth year was the fourth year of his rookie deal. Fourth year of his rookie deal was this year in Carolina. Carolina picked up that fifth year option. The fifth year option is $19 million. Don't you remember before the year 2 years ago, the Bears declined Trubisky's fifth year option?
Yeah.
Well, Trubisky was a free agent. It's different. Trubisky signed a 1 year deal with Buffalo. Darnold was traded, and after he was traded, they picked up his option for $19 million. Trust me, I've done the research on the Sam Darnold contract because once I saw that he was making that money, I had to figure out how that happened, and that's exactly how it happened, which is why he's making more money than Trubisky. Regardless, we don't need to spend 10 minutes on.
You're right.
Yeah. But either way, I'm going to say this, right?
It's the same thing, though.
For the past 4 years, we have come on here and absolutely killed everything related to Matt Nagy, whether it be his game plans, whether it be his press conferences, whether it's his handling of the quarterbacks, his development of the quarterbacks, his refusal to do what the quarterbacks do well, right?
Sure.
So we can't do all that. And I'm not saying you're saying this, but for people that are, we can't do all that and then turn around and be like, hey, man, Mitch is a fucking bum, right? Yeah. Because in reality, we just saw Matt Nagy botch another young quarterback. And we don't think Fields is a bum yet, right? We're not there yet. So we can't do that and not give Trubisky some benefit of the doubt. And I said this on Twitter yesterday. Mitch Trubisky has his flaws, and there are lots of them. There are lots of things that he doesn't do well. There are lots of areas that he needs to improve on, right? And a lot of that is within himself that he needs to work on. At the same time, I really believe that he had a head coach that for 3 out of their 4 years together was actively working against him. We saw that first year what Mitch did well. If you ran the game plan the right way, you could get some things out of him. The kid was extremely athletic, right? He was really athletic. He could run. He could move around the pocket. He could extend plays. He could make some throws, right? A lot of deep ball accuracy issues, things like that, but could make some throws. You could scheme around him. The next year after seeing that, Nagy literally changed the entire offense to not highlight his athleticism and tried to turn him to a traditional pocket passer and really tried to do that over the course of the next 2 seasons, which really ruined the kid. Then benched him in the middle of a game for no real reason for fucking Nick Foles, who he really wanted to play, right? Brought in new quarterbacks, never really
it wasn't for no reason.
Whatever.
He didn't bench him for no reason.
Yeah, not for no reason, but you're bringing in Foles who played worse. Who literally played worse. Nick Foles, the weeks that Foles was at quarterback was some of the worst quarterbacking I have ever seen in my life, and I've seen bad quarterbacking, right? So again, understand that Mitch has a lot of flaws and there's a lot of shit he needs to work on. But also understand that Matt Nagy, as we progress further along through the Nagy era, how bad and toxic he really was. Mitch deserves that another chance. I'm not sitting here saying he's a legitimate Pro Bowler. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to lead you to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. But what I am saying is the best thing that he could have possibly done was get out of that situation, go to Buffalo, get around some good coaching, rebuild his confidence, understand what a functional organization looks like, right? Not an organization that in its illustrious history has never been able to have a quarterback, but a functional organization that prioritized developing a young quarterback, what that looks like, and then moving on to another organization that is the model of stability in the NFL and a head coach that is the model of stability in the NFL. He's going to be going to an environment in which he's going to be nurtured, in which he's going to be developed, in which they're going to try to do things that work for him. That wasn't the case here in Chicago. So with that being said, for 2 years, $14 million and the ability and another $13 million in incentives, I am 1,000% taking a swing on Mitch Trubisky, especially when you have Darnolds and Bridgewaters and Fitzpatricks and all these guys that are starting for 30% of the teams in the league. I told you last year, I didn't understand why Trubisky didn't get a job as a starter. I've been saying that for a year, and I watched every single Mitch Trubisky game and hated most of them. So I get it. But at the same time, man, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yo, this guy's a complete bum and can't be salvaged because he had a head coach that gave up on developing him. Just like you had a head coach that gave up on developing Fields a week after drafting him. So we can't sit here and ignore all that, man. Like, we can't sit here and act like none of that shit happened. It all happened. He tried to sabotage him, and that is what it is. So hopefully the year away helped him out. And I will say I am pulling for the kid, to be completely honest with you. I want him to do well. I never thought Mitch was a bad guy.
No,
like, there have been people who I do not like and don't want to do well, and I never got that from Mitch. I just feel like eventually he was caught in a shit situation, and he wasn't good enough to pull himself out of it. And maybe that'll change now. Again, I don't think he's going to be a Pro Bowler or a Hall of Fame or anything like that, but do I think he can be serviceable? It's tough to win games in the NFL. And he has won games in the NFL, regardless of who he's playing around, regardless of how many touchdowns the defense is scoring. You can also have quarterbacks that lose games. See Tannehill, Ryan.
I get it.
Guys like this, they lose games.
Tannehill, Ryan is, I get it. I get it. I understand what you're saying. But don't try to sell me on a narrative that this guy led his team to the playoffs. You're taking a chance on a guy because there's not a lot of options out here.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not that, like, let's say what it is.
No good.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
This guy is athletic, has shown some flashes, was in a really bad situation, so they're giving him an opportunity to play. I'm hearing a lot of other shit like, this guy led his team to the playoffs in 2 or 4 years, went to the Pro Bowl, and he's way better than Carson Wentz and all this other shit. That's cap.
He's way better than Carson Wentz.
He's not. Are you out of? Yo, listen. Carson Wentz is bad. He's not way better. Mitchell Trubisky
they might be on the same.
They
might be on the same level. Carson Wentz is awful. Carson Wentz has no good film until 2017. We're still holding on to his almost MVP season where he got hurt and the team won the Super Bowl without him.
People are holding on to that. I've
never seen anything like it. This guy's
I've been guilty of bringing that up.
Oh my God, it's like fucking fine wine how much the season has aged for him. It's just like amazing. Like, you remember Carson Wentz in 2017? Talk about the year he got replaced.
But let's be serious. Like,
and the game plan was solid enough to win with Nick Foles. I don't think that was Carson Wentz. Yeah, he sucks. He stinks. Watch the fucking film on Carson Wentz. I never want to hear his name again.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I agree with you. Like, I put my neck out there for Carson Wentz multiple times.
Yeah, you have. I never get it. Sucks.
Yeah, he stinks.
Sucks. I'd rather take Trubisky for $7 million a year than Carson Wentz for 28.
Yeah, but you still can't say let's see how he plays. You still can't come out here and say Trubisky's head and shoulders better than, man, the last time I saw Mitch Trubisky play, he was ass.
Yeah, last time I saw Carson Wentz play, he was ass.
That's fine. They both ass then.
Yeah, okay. So
until further notice. That's all I'm saying. So I'm looking forward to see how that shakes out. But I'm gonna tell you this: he's gonna be a lot better than Ben Roethlisberger was last year.
Absolutely.
Especially, they're gonna have a lot. They're gonna have. I wouldn't say way better than Ben, but they're gonna have. The offense is a lot more flexible, a lot more play action, a lot more rollout. You couldn't do any of that stuff.
And they won games last year with Roethlisberger being done, cooked, fried. Yeah. You talk about gotten it, no more skill, gone.
Yeah, done.
Like,
washed.
Literally done, cooked.
Washed, folded,
away in the fucking put back in the laundry bag they drop off at your crib. Whole thing done.
Yeah, whole thing.
You understand
done.
what I'm trying to tell you? Dusted, sawdust.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's absolutely an upgrade for them at the quarter. The only thing that you had with Roethlisberger was a wealth of knowledge, right? So, but I don't know what that was doing for you on the football field. It's a great spot for Trubisky. I honestly think you couldn't pick up. You're going. It's hard to fathom the differences in the two organizations as far as stability and understanding what these are two of the oldest organizations in the NFL, two of the most storied franchises in the NFL, two organizations that could not be any different.
Yeah.
The Steelers have had 3 head coaches in 60 years. The Bears have had 6 and 6, 7, 8. I don't even know. We've had my whole lifetime. We've had 10 head coaches.
Yeah.
I think
I think it'll be interesting to see.
Steelers have never been bad.
There's just they've never been bad.
They've never been bad. Mike Tomlin refuses to. They should have been 1-16 this year.
Yeah, they should have.
Tomlin was just like, nope, not gonna do that. No, we're just getting the playoffs. Like it's kind of crazy. So yeah. So, Tomlin and Nagy couldn't be any different.
Yeah, the complete opposites. For sure.
Complete
opposites.
Complete opposites.
Yeah. I agree. So there's There's not a lot of quarterback jobs. There's not a lot of quarterbacks out here. I understand him getting an opportunity.
Get more money. And it's only a 2-year deal. That's a great move for them.
Well,
great move for him. If he's great after year 1, cool. I'll take a new contract.
I think the 2-year thing is like, hey, we're showing a little bit of a commitment to you being the starting guy. You can't give your starting quarterback. You can't say in the same breath, I want you to be the starting quarterback, and then give him a 1-year deal. It just doesn't work that way.
And
right?
if you're Mitch, you're not signing a 4 or 5 year deal because like if I'm good,
right.
I'm locked in at 5 years,
exactly.
way below market value.
Exactly.
So give me some cash for 2 years. Yeah, and we'll talk about this next summer. If I'm good, if I'm not good, you can cut me. And if I'm good, let's talk about a new. If I'm good, you won't see me in the summer until I have a new deal.
Yeah, exactly. I need a deal.
Need a deal.
All right, let's move on.
Get a deal.
We should make some shirts.
Hey, this is Mitchell. I need a deal.
I need a deal.
Played well last year. Deal.
Deal.
Hey.
All right, let's move over to the NBA real quick, man.
Does Lamar have a deal yet? Is this the Lamar Jackson deal?
Lamar Jackson does not have a deal yet.
Okay. Get a deal.
He needs a deal, though.
Man, what?
Lamar needs a deal.
I don't know where Lamar makes his offseason home. Probably somewhere in Florida, and I'm not leaving Florida.
Lamar better tell him to call. You better call Watson. I don't have a deal.
You better call Deshaun if I ain't got a deal. I seen RG3 still in the booth. Y'all want to bring him back? He's available. I heard.
I need a deal.
Need a deal. Where's the deal? What's going on here?
Before I start Kyler Murray and out here.
Yeah, about to Kyler Murray.
You about to get a memo in a second.
Kyler said it with all caps.
You about to get a memo here in a second. Y'all keep messing around.
If I don't have a deal, I'm not showing up this year. I just saw Aaron Rodgers get a $150 million direct deposit. I need something similar.
I'm a 26-year-old MVP.
Hey, listen. I'm not putting the headband back on until I have a deal. And you know I don't play without the headband, so let's go.
Yeah, Raven flop. I need a deal. All right, let's go to the NBA. Last night, Cat drops a 60 ball.
Carl.
He had 32 in the third quarter. I watched the second half of the third quarter. He was going crazy.
It's going bananas.
He kind of. He's not Embiid, but he was looking like Embiid last night. Like he was doing everything he wanted. He was shooting jumpers. He was at the cup. And mind you, the Spurs aren't very good. And they don't have a big that can answer him in any way, shape, or form.
They really don't. Like Jakob Porto, who's a good defender, has zero chance against Karl Anthony Towns.
So that's where we're at on that. So you said a lot of people don't like Cat, and I've had people have hit me like, yo, dude's just an odd weirdo dude. I don't like him. Like just flat out said that. Where are you at with Karl Anthony Towns? His game is there though. Say what you want. I think more it's people don't really like him as a guy, but his game is there.
And Jimmy didn't help that, right? Like Jimmy's just been punking him left and right, punked him on the court. Told him on the court last year, already punked your bitch ass. That shit doesn't add, and Cat didn't do nothing about it. Right. Yeah. So like that kind of adds to it. And I've always had the beef with Towns, and I talk about this all the time with bigs. I don't like bigs that can't get big, right? Who don't understand that I am bigger than everybody, I'm stronger than everybody, and I'm more skilled. And I talk about it with Joe all the time, right? Embiid at some point in the last couple of years, maybe it was after Shaq and them called him out. And remember, Shaq was like, yo, you should be scoring 7 points a corner off GP. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get off the bus. Yeah.
Real shit. Shaq might have woke him up.
Yeah,
like what are you're doing? Not in shape like that. You need to get in better shape. You should be scoring 30 a night.
Yeah.
And
what did Joe say? He didn't get mad. He's like, you know what? You're right. You're right. And what has he done since then? Score 30 a night and take your head off when he's playing basketball. We talked about this last week.
He's a killer right now.
Takes your head. No shame, no nothing. I'm coming in here to inflict pain on the opponent. I'll give it to you however you want it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to leave here with 30 plus. I'm going to leave here with a bunch of boards, and most likely we're going to get the W. And I felt sometimes watching Cat, the skill level is there. His skill is undeniable. He's extremely talented. He's one of the best shooting big men we have ever seen in this league. Call it what you want to. For a 7-footer with a versatile offensive game, he can. Just won the 3-point contest. He can actually shoot that thing. So I don't have a problem with him shooting 7 threes a game. What I have a problem is that sometimes you watch a game with him, and he doesn't look like the best player on the floor. You never watch an Embiid game and say, where's Embiid? Is he even playing right now? You will watch Cat for 5-minute stretches, And it's like, oh, he's out there, but he's not doing shit. It's kind of like Booch and some of these other guys, right? You got to
and a perfect example is that if you watched the game last night, he scored 32 points in the third quarter. Didn't score in the fourth until there was like 3 minutes left, I think.
Right.
So he kind of just.
This is like, on a 60-point night. He had 56 through 3.
He had 56 through 3. He could have scored 70.
Yeah.
And he kind of just disappeared in that big stretch of time, just to kind of compliment what you were saying.
Exactly. So, and again, so like, and I watch a lot of Timberwolves, right? I like that team. It's a fun team to watch. Offensively, they're like absurd. Defensively, it's the exact opposite. Don't give me the people keep trying to talk about their defensive statistics like they're 12th in the league in D. I don't give a fuck what the numbers say. Watch it with your eyes. They gave up 139 to the Spurs last night,
especially recently.
Yeah, like their defense is awful. So I think they force a lot of turnovers and things like that, but that's just by the nature of how they play. They play extremely fast. They just have so much offensive talent. It's breathtaking. But every game's a track meet with them. So yeah, and there's just times where it just seems like he's not out there. And I feel like your best players, you gotta feel them. Like if you're that dude, I'm supposed to feel when you're out there. Even if you're not scoring or you're having an off night, you're doing things to kind of help. And Cat kind of disappears. With that being said, since the break, over the last couple weeks, second part of this season, he has been hooping. That team is 10 games over 500. Nobody saw that coming, right? My boy Ant-Man, love him, has not been playing well, right? But it doesn't matter because Cat's been balling out of his mind. So I gotta give him credit, just like I had to with Book. The Book situation is a little different because that team was a lot better last year. But I'll give, just like I'm gonna give slander when slander's due, I'll give credit where credit's due. Karl-Anthony Towns has been balling as of recently. He's got his team winning, and he's showing up and playing, and that's all I ask for, man. Don't disappear. Be that guy. Understand your power. Understand your skill. Understand what you bring to the table, and take that mentality every night. Can you do that on a Tuesday in Sacramento? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's really about. Just keep that mentality. So maybe he's good. He's got his girl. You know what I'm saying? His girl's out here with him. He's feeling good with Jordan Woods. Maybe she's giving him the motivation that he needs. And I'm not downplaying the things that he went through either. I feel like people don't want to go into him because of some of the things that he's been through, and I understand that. But I had the same thought about Cat 3 years ago, right? Yeah. So like this has nothing to do with that. I understand the mental shit that he's gone through, and I could not imagine.
17 boards, 3 assists on 19 of 31. 7-11 from the tray.
15 to 16 from free throw line.
Too. Yeah.
So, look, man, keep it up. But you can do that. You can't go for 60 every night, but you should, just like they told Joe, you should be putting up 30 in your sleep. You should wake up with 30. 30 is the standard for me.
Yeah.
Right? If I get 30, my team has a chance, but I can't have 21. You know what I mean? I got to go for 30 every night.
I'm going to tell you this, too. One of my favorite players in the league is Jonte Murray.
Oh, he's awesome.
He is so good. And we saw it loading up, right? Before he got the ACL. Like, this dude is nice, man. This is like such a Pop guy. Like, Pop was kind of bringing him along, like letting him run the team a little bit. He blew his knee out, and now he took a full year off, got back healthy, and now he is just – it comes to him very easily, it looks like. Yeah. Super big, long frame. He had 30 and 12 assists last night, 4 boards, but runs 20, that 21, 8.
He's averaging 21, 8, and 9.
Yeah, like he'll be an all-star next year.
And that's a perfect piece for them to build around.
Yeah, exactly right, man. DeJounte Murray is a beast. So
and don't let them get some players in the building over there, okay?
How many years Pop got left though, man?
Remember his wife passed away, so I don't think he's really got as much to retire.
He wants to stay around.
Yeah, he's probably gonna stay coaching. Yeah, I mean, so who knows? But I mean, hey, another team that's like, even when they're bad, like they should be a lot worse than 26 and 42. But tough out, right? But yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
for now. But you got a good young piece, so we'll see what they do. But yeah, with Cat, man, that's just my piece on him. He really has been hooping, absolutely. But at the same time, man, I want to see it every night. Now we know you can do that. And don't show me 2 weeks of this and then go back to this. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's go time now. You're ramping up for the playoffs. This team's in a good position. You guys are winning over there.
You just got to call up and beat.
Yeah, you guys are 7th. Get out that. You're close to getting out of that play-in. Yeah, call
Go have
Joe.
some breakfast.
Joe doesn't like him. They don't get along.
But you know what I mean. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe,
Like, go.
Joe called him a bitch. Remember, Joe was like, Jimmy
Yeah.
told me about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his guy.
You a bitch. Joe.
Well, I think Jimmy hit his chick when they were in the same team or something like that. Like Jimmy pulled some dog shit. I think Jimmy's just different.
Yeah, well, if Jimmy doesn't rock with you, he would never do that to Tyler Hero. He loves Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero never touches chick.
Yeah, like if he doesn't rock with you, he just doesn't rock with you. That's just
Yeah.
what it comes down to. That's why Jimmy's Jimmy. You know what I'm saying?
I love Jimmy.
So shout out Jimmy. Let's talk about the Bulls really quick because
Yeah, you got to take.
I don't even know if it's hot or not, but go down the list, bro. Go down the list in the East.
Yeah.
Are the Bulls better than Boston? Absolutely not. Bulls right now are 4th in the East. Are the Bulls better than Boston? Absolutely not.
Boston's playing really well, but I need to see sustained because Boston has the ability to fold up.
Listen,
and we've seen it.
They've been sustained the last 2 months. They've been sensational.
Yeah, in the
Best
first 2
D
months.
in the league.
In the first 2 months, they were poo.
Best D in the league,
Come on.
and Tatum is going crazy.
Yeah.
Jalen's now healthy as well. They are really good. The Bulls can't fuck with them right now. Period. Point blank.
You know, Boston they got a Shamar Moore looking buddy out there coaching very well.
So
man.
obviously, we have Miami, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston. They're all better than the Bulls. Are the Bulls better than Cleveland? Right now.
Probably right on par with Cleveland.
Okay. Are they better than Toronto?
Look, man. Hey, listen. Can I give you some credit on something real quick? Can I give you some credit on something real quick? Sean was on Nick Nurse before anybody.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
You were on Nick Nurse like early in that year before they even won the championship. You're like, yo, this coach they got in Toronto, like this guy's different.
He's legitimate.
Legitimate.
I was watching him. I think it was 3 years ago now. But I'm like, wait a second. Well, first off, I knew someone saw something because I trust Masai, and he moved off Dwayne Casey after he had the best year of his career.
Coach of the year, best record in the East.
So I said, we got a brother firing another brother.
Yeah, real talk.
To go to this white dude, Nick Nurse, who's and when I say white dude, I mean he's a prototypical coach-looking dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was already paying attention as that happened. And then I watched them very closely that whole year. And I'm like, bro, I watched like 15 games, first like 20 games of the year. I'm like, yo, this guy, Nick Nurse, is very, very good. He was making adjustments. He was calling timeouts right when they needed. His rotations were crazy. I'm like, yo, this guy is really good. So I don't know. Right now, the Bulls are 3 games out of the 7.
Mm-hmm.
With
2 of those 3 teams really playing well that they're in front of.
Yes.
And Boston and Toronto and Brooklyn.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I should say that. They're 2 games out of the 6. They're probably not going to go to how many games are left? What do we got? Not very many.
14.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I also tweeted out earlier in March, I said the Bulls' March is a gauntlet. And we have 1 win in the month, and that's against the Pistons, and they gave us fits.
A lot of problems.
We almost lost that game.
Got smacked last night.
If it wasn't for the Pistons just having no one to go to at the end of the game,
yeah, they have nobody.
Then the Bulls lose that game. The Bulls were getting beat up the whole game, and then DeMar and the gang pulled them out at the end, like they have, like he's been doing all year.
The Pistons are what I call a Cabo team, right? These teams that pretty much half the players got 1 foot in Cabo or Central Bay or somewhere else. Yeah, they're gone, right? So you should not, let's say Sacramento, Cabo team.
Exactly.
Quick flight.
Yep, I'm out of here. I will say this: Sabonis was playing hard last night. He
always does.
Yeah, and he was trying to get the guys, rocking, and they did. They beat up on the Bulls.
I feel bad for him, man. He goes from a not good team to a really fucking awful team.
Yeah.
What a dumb trade.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess they're buying into the Fox and Sabonis combo. But before we get too far off course, what I'm saying is we're not playing better than the top 5 teams in the East.
Yep.
That's Boston, Philly, Milwaukee, and Miami. We're probably on par, and we're probably on par with Cleveland, Toronto right now. And then we have Brooklyn.
Yep, and all
Like,
they're not incapable of going on a run.
We're not playing better than Brooklyn.
No.
We're on par with Cleveland and Toronto and not playing better than Brooklyn, especially when they're at full strength.
We haven't played well since the break. Let's call it like it is. We have not played well since the break at all. And it's not been a problem all year where we'll go on big runs and then lose a few in a row, but we've always been able to kind of get back on it. They look lifeless right now. I mean, last night, I don't know how you give up 70 points in the first half to the Sacramento Kings. Like, our defense is non-existent at this point. Our defense is completely non-existent at this point. We can't – Caruso's back, great. We can't guard anybody. I don't think Zach is healthy at all. I think Zach's knee is a bigger issue than you think. I think if this is the offseason, Zach's getting surgery. But he's eligible for a supermax, so he's not going to do that. Right?
You know what else?
I think he's making a business decision right now. He got hurt. He got hurt before the break. Wanted to play in the All-Star game.
Edder's been on that too. Edder's been
hurt.
Saying that. He's like, yo, Zach doesn't look right. Zach
doesn't look right at all. He's hurt.
So, and I don't know where the team would be without Ayo Dosunmu.
Me neither.
Like, for us to be getting the production and minutes and energy out of him as a rookie, he that's almost like a guy we weren't even expecting to be around, and he's been a major piece.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're lucky that has worked out for you.
Because
we needed him. Like, guys playing 38 minutes a night.
No, like, for real.
Like, 38 minutes a night. Like, the Zoe injury, really that Lonzo Ball injury, how massive that was for us, right? Because of how much he does for us defensively. And remember what we were doing in the beginning of the year? The Bulls were playing with pace. Like, Lonzo gets the ball. Stacey King would talk about all the time. Looks up. Give me the ball. I'm looking up. I'm looking ahead. I'm going to push it, right? So that helps on the fast breaks. That helps with Caruso and Ball playing the passing lanes, creating turnovers. Like, all these fun things that the Bulls were doing, they're not doing it anymore. And now it's just become, hey, DeMar, like, yo, fucking go be a hero. Bail us out. It is a lot of stand around and watch DeMar DeRozan and hope that he's having one of those nights, and in the fourth quarter he's money. It's not what we were doing at the beginning of the year. It's not playing the passing lanes. It's not getting up and down the floor. It's not playing this high-pressure defense, right? Like, all that shit has kind of gone away, and it's just, oh, we have DeMar, and he's having a really good year. Here's the ball. Create. Yeah. Which he's not going to say no, but it's not sustainable, man. Like, it's tough.
The take was they have a legitimate. I think the Bulls have a legitimate chance to be in the play-in, and that's obviously where you don't want to be. But I think like the top 3 or 4 is definitely sealed up. Boston's going to catch us for the 4, and then we're going to be dealing with Cleveland for the 6. And then if shit gets really ugly and Brooklyn and Toronto go on a crazy run, we have a legitimate chance to be the 7. So don't be surprised if we're scratching and clawing to stay at the 6 with a real legitimate slot to go to the 7. And with the rest of the month too. The rest of the month is a torture chamber.
And I'll tell it to you like this: the only one of these, I don't want to see Toronto in a 1-game play, and I'll tell you that right now. Like, zero part of me want to see that. Yeah. Maybe Cleveland, sure. Atlanta, sure. They don't defend anybody. We play well against them. I don't know. Trae Young gives us problems. Charlotte is a mixed bag, but like, yo, we don't want to fall into that Toronto, Brooklyn play-in type situation because it's not going to be sweet for us.
Listen, and I'm tripping. The Bulls have 2 wins. They beat the Cavs for 2 in a row the other night too. So they just beat the Cavs. That is true.
But we've lost 6 of 10.
Yeah, we've lost 6 of 10, and then our next game is we're at Utah. That's an L. I'm gonna tell you right now. Then we go to Phoenix. That's an L. I'm gonna tell you right now. Then we're at home against the Raptors. That's a winnable game. Then we go to Milwaukee.
Not with the way the Raptors are playing.
That's what I'm saying.
Raptors won 4 straight, won 6 of 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and the Raptors are very good on the road. Raptors are better on the road than they are at home. 21-15.
But like, listen to the next stretch, man.
Scotty Barnes. Yeah. Hey. Real talk. Shout out Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is nice.
Yeah, man. Utah, Phoenix, Toronto, Milwaukee. Then you got to go to New Orleans. Hopefully CJ's not playing, but stay tuned there. Then we have the Cavs on the road. Then we go to the Knicks on a Monday night, which is that should be a W. And then we play the Wizards, and then we're in Washington, and then we close out the month at home against the Clippers. I mean, that's a lot of tough games, especially with how they're playing at the moment. It
And
doesn't
how
get
some of these
it
other
doesn't
teams
get
are playing.
and it doesn't get easier in April. We open April with the Heat, the Bucks, the Celtics.
Well, and here's the thing: as the other top Eastern Conference teams are now really rounding into form. Like I said with Milwaukee all year, don't worry about their regular season. They were kind of bullshitting, and we're just going to turn it on at the end of the year. And they've done that. They've won 7 of 10. Miami's won 7 of 10. Philly's won 7 of 10. Boston's won 7 of 10. Right? So, like, these teams are rounding out into form, and we're going backwards. That's a problem. Like, this is the wrong time to, like, not be – you should be playing your best ball of the year right now. Like, it's crucial that you're playing – like, this March –
yeah, the limp into the playoffs is never good.
It's never worked for anybody. The perfect example is last year. Remember Atlanta? Trash for most of the year, right? McMillan takes over. They get hot. They steam into the playoffs and take it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yep. And this is a team that had no business being there.
Beat the Knicks,
right?
Beat Philly, yep.
Yeah, so when you start looking at, again, Milwaukee, Miami, Philadelphia, who are all hitting their stride right now, both the Bulls and Boston, but the Bulls are going the other direction. That's not good. That's not good because these teams, you've already said, are better than us, right? And they're playing with momentum. Man, you don't want to see these guys. And they got the playoff vets are on these teams, man. Come on, Miami's got – we talked to you about Kyle Lowry before. You know the deal. He's an NBA champion. Milwaukee, they showed you last year when Giannis activates playoff mode, forget about it. Philly, lots to prove, man. Boston, dynamic. Jaylen Brown took Maxi Kleber's soul.
Yeah, he punched him. He punched him in the face, then dunked on him.
That was vicious.
Yo, if you haven't seen that flush, go look that up. Yeah, that was vicious.
Those are folks playing with confidence. Tatum out here going for 40, 50 a night. Come on now. Like,
and they're playing D. Robert Williams is a beast.
What do they call him? Time Lord? Yeah.
Time Lord.
Shout out Time Lord.
Shout out Time Lord. Like, Robert Williams is a beast. We know about Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
They look really good, man.
They look good. And like,
and we killed them early in the year.
So, but I'll be
the fact that we were talking about if they're going to make the playoffs. I'm like,
they look
the
terrible.
Fact that we're even talking about this is ridiculous. But
they seem to have figured something out. It seems like finally Tatum and Brown look like they're happy playing together.
Yeah.
And like Tatum has kind of assumed that super alpha role, and Brown's fine with it. Hey, it's all good. We'll figure it out. Marcus Smart still takes poorly timed 3-pointers at the end of the game that I don't understand. He took one the other day and I lost my mind. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I cannot believe he took that shot.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, playing well, man. So you want to be facing up, around this time, not down. And that's kind of where we are. At the same time, I'm still happy. You know what I mean? I'm still satisfied with this Bulls season. It's way more than I thought it was going to be. And you know, kind of regardless of what happens, I'll feel good. But at the same time, we get bounced in the play, and I don't know how I'll feel. So
yeah,
I might just be saying that. I might just be trying to sell myself on the fact that I'm not as emotionally invested as I am.
We get the play, and we get smoked by Toronto or something. Yeah. That should be ugly.
Well, I guess the other thing is too, because this team is kind of built for right now. Like, it's not like we got a whole bunch of young pieces that's like, oh yeah, we'll be right back next year. It's like our young pieces are Kobe, Pat Williams, who hasn't played, but it's really a veteran team.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man, because I was talking to a couple different people.
Yeah.
And for those who are listening, I think this is a really interesting spot. Right now, for DPOY in the NBA, Rudy Gobert on DraftKings is -150. Bam Adebayo's +225.
Where's Matisse Thybulle?
He's way at the bottom. He's plus 10,000.
This is the best defender I've ever seen.
But he's really good. Time Lord's +1,000, and then Giannis is +550.
Time Lord, what an
awesome!
How do you even get that nickname?
I don't know. It's awesome though. Time Lord.
Time Lord.
But if you flip over to FanDuel, you can get Rudy Gobert and Bam both at +150. So I could get Rudy at +150 and Bam at +225. Is there ever a chance where there's just voter fatigue and Gobert doesn't get it and they somehow give it to Giannis? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's not like the MVP. No, I don't think so. I don't think on the defensive player of the year. Remember Ben Wallace won it 5 straight years or some crazy shit?
Yeah.
Dwight, same thing. Nah, if you're the best defender, you're the best friend. I think there's MVP fatigue because the MVP is so much narrative based, right? Like, if we're being honest, Jokic is probably the MVP this year.
You think so?
Yeah, but I think their record is going to go against it. And the fact that it was so close between him and Embiid last year that he's got to get it. It's just like when Harden won it over Westbrook, and the next year they give it to Westbrook, or however that worked, vice versa. It's like those guys are predetermined. Like Joel Embiid would have had to be bad this year to not win the MVP because of how close he was to winning it last year when Jokic ultimately got it. So I think that's why when you look at those odds and why he's like, no matter what Jokic is doing, Joel Embiid is still like minus 130. It's like that shit has already been determined.
Yeah, 145 now.
Is it minus 145? Yeah, but Jokic is over here dropping 20 dimes and like it's nothing he can really do.
But you think Gobert goes DPOY again?
Yeah, probably. It's easy for folks to pick Rudy Gobert.
I mean, he's having another really good year on defensive end.
Yeah, until he sees
until he sees Embiid in the finals.
No, not even Embiid. until he sees Terrence Mann. Remember last year they were putting him in a blender with Terrence Mann. He had no idea what to do.
Yeah,
Terrence Mann was cooking the Jazz last year. Is he even still in the league?
T-Man's still in the league.
Shut out T-Man. So yeah, I'm fine with it.
I know. Shout out my guy Trey. He's watching. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it, man. Like I got no problem with him getting another one if that's what you want to do. I think that Tybal being all the way far down the list is absolutely crazy. I don't know what hoop people are watching if you don't think Matisse Tybal is a top 5 defender.
It's so hard for guards don't win it, bro. You just gotta be like like guards don't win DPOY. They have a huge effect on the game, but the numbers aren't there to back it up. But
look, he is a tenacious defender. Like watch 10 minutes of Matisse Tybal and try not to get inspired to play some D. Folks is out here playing the passing lanes. He's picking you up from behind. He's poking at balls. Like he creates so many chances off defense. It's crazy. And it's for the whole time he's in the game. Like I think about defensive player of the year. Like who would I not want to play against for 4 quarters? And Matisse Tybal comes top of the list.
Yeah.
Just like Kawhi used to be the same way. You put some hands on you, it's game over.
How many games has Kawhi played the last 5 years?
The championship doesn't matter.
No, I feel you. I'm just wondering.
Kawhi.
Partially torn ACL is a real injury. I'm not getting at that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like the last 6 years.
Remember that year in Toronto?
He's probably played like 200 games,
25 games. Yeah. But when he
played like 220 games.
When he shows up, he hoops.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Hey, Kawhi don't never gotta do nothing, man. He went to Toronto for 1 year and won a championship.
Yeah, then got paid, went to LA, kicking it, doing his thing.
He's got 2 rings. He's got 2 finals MVPs. Like he's straight. He's like, I don't give a fuck what y'all say, man.
He does have 2 rings and 2 finals MVPs. Don't forget that shit.
Yeah, don't forget that shit at all.
2 finals MVP. Who, off the top of your head, who's got 2 finals MVPs? So we got Kawhi, we got Jordan, we got LeBron.
I know Steph has none.
We got Bean.
Steph has 0, correct?
Steph has 0. KD has 2.
Andre Iguodala has 1. Jordan has a few.
No, but who has 2 though? Like, okay,
probably Tim Duncan.
Look, Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, Michael Jordan,
LeBron,
Kobe Bean Bryant.
LeBron got 2 finals MVPs, right?
LeBron, yeah. He has more than that.
Yeah, so Duncan has 3.
But there's still not like 10 people that have multiple.
And how many of them have him on 2 different teams?
Yeah, nobody.
How many have him when you go to a team? He literally went. He went to a team for 1 year and won an NBA championship. Like I don't want to. The Kawhi run in Toronto was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that playoff run was crazy, bro.
It's crazy.
He was killing.
He got all those boys paid. He got Siakam paid. He got Fred VanVleet paid. Lowry got an extension after that. They can't say shit about Kawhi. No. Masai got paid. Nick Nurse got paid. Everybody got paid. City of Toronto got paid. Drake got paid. Everybody got paid.
Everybody, yeah, that's a good run. He a legend out there now for sure.
I want my chips with the dip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, man. We're gonna leave it there. No catch up. Sports Talk via Chicago. You already know. For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little. Make sure you subscribe everywhere, man. Tell the homies we're live on Twitter right now. We're live on YouTube, Twitch, wherever you want to watch us. Check us out every Tuesday. We've been dropping some Friday episodes too. But make sure you tap in with us. Follow us on all socials at No Catch Up Pod, YouTube, iTunes, No Catch Up Podcast. You know the deal. Big Nick the Quick, Sean Little. Talk soon, man. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We out of here.
Oh, we're getting a lot of.
Hold on.